Good to see you. So we're already seeing the fallout of the auto tariffs with this 2-week shutdown at the Stellantis plant. Can you give us some more insight, more understanding as to why this decision was made so quickly and why it's deemed necessary?
Well, I'm not involved in the decision, but we can get an understanding here that what we've been talking about, and Marcia, you and I have talked about this for over a month now, that the math doesn't work. When you're making cars in 6 to 7% profit margins, and suddenly you're faced with having to impose a surtax to your customer or absorb it of 4 times that. And yes, there's some analysis here that perhaps the American content in the vehicles made in those 2 segment leading products, the minivan and the muscle car down there, could reduce that tariff impact to maybe half of that. It's still twice the profit margin. These are not charities, and Stellantis is a world-class automaker, and that plant has been part of the Windsor ecosystem for 97 years, and just was completely retooled to launch a brand new product. And their workforce is one of the most productive in their entire fleet in North America. They shut down for 2 weeks in April. I think your viewers should understand that that's not normal. There's no normal explanation for that. That I've cautioned with this Trump administration and things that happen is trust your gut and trust what you see and hear. The plant shut down because those cars sell to Americans, and they're not sure how to do that in this environment. And then last thing, very importantly, that plant shut down, and there's several thousand employees at that plant who are on temporary layoff, and another 900 in the U.S.
Yeah.
But there's over 10,000 part supplier employees who will be standing down at the same time.
So
about half of those in Michigan.
Yeah, I just want to specifically get your reaction, Flavio, to this news just coming in. Temporarily pausing production at the Windsor plant for 2 weeks. We know that, assuming that operations will resume April the 24th. Pausing production in Mexico. And as a result of the pause, there are going to be 900 U.S. employees temporarily laid off. It looks as though this is in Michigan and Indiana. This is happening at incredible speed. Your thoughts?
The canary is dead. And if you're in the coal business and you're in the mining business, you know what that means. So you look here and you say, if you're the White House, or you're the Canadian government, or you're the Mexican government, that in automotive, especially in these 3 countries, we're so intertwined, the Americans cannot aim at Ontario and miss Michigan. And there is nothing about Stellantis that's inefficient. This product is segment leading, meaning they sell more of that product in that segment than any of their competitors in a plant that they was part of a $5 billion investment just a few years ago for workers that have been great for them and their suppliers. There's so many American suppliers that supply that plant. This is different than when you put tariffs on cars made in Europe or in Asia that get sold into the U.S. and you put a tariff on them. I mean, that's silly anyway. But this is the White House is doing something to the American auto sector here that a Canadian counter couldn't imagine having the effect of. I counseled the Prime Minister yesterday that the auto sector in Canada, especially the parts sector, has not been asking for reciprocal tariffs here. The Americans will do so much damage that if Canada has a limited amount of arrows to use in its defense, use it for other sectors, other regions, other communities and stakeholders that really need them. We don't need any help here showing the White House how dumb all of this is.
Flavio Volpe, always great to have you on. Flavio is the president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. Just a really quick recap here. So we've got the temporary